Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Who need to hear this, but let me put this out here. Stop sparing folks. Hello, somebody. Stop sparing folks. Nobody cared when your feelings was hurt. Nobody cared when you was pacing the floor. Nobody cared when you was sliding down the wall. Nobody cared when you was standing over there with a face full of tears. You had to suck it up, buttercup. But then when it come to other folk feelings, here you are, want to tiptoe around it, want to avoid the elephant in the room. I don't want to upset anybody. I don't want to disturb the peace. Stop sparing folk. Ain't nobody spare you when it was your turn. Give it to them real. Give it to them raw. Give it to them uncut and uncensored. This is exactly what it is. This way you had me messed up at. Yeah. I ain't playing with nobody this season, baby.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Well, good
Good morning, you crazy early birds. Not as early as we're used to. I was actually teetering on whether to go live today because I need to take a down day. So I have decided my down day should probably be Sunday, not Saturday, right? We'll do a little something, something Sunday, but nothing too, it's going to be more of rah, 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 go to church, do good. Do good in the world, right? So I wasn't going to come live today because last Saturday I took the day off and I was thinking about, I need a down day. And yesterday I was so exhausted. I have to be honest with you. I was extremely exhausted yesterday being out in the woods. And I have to be honest, there are a lot of creators throughout the United States, throughout the state of Florida. And there are a lot of creators that were in and around the area where this little boy went. And there's some that were further away, And it was, I have to be honest with you, I'm glad the boy was found, but I would have liked to see more of a social media presence out there when it comes to a 2-year-old child missing. And that was lacking. Even the media, other social media people that were there were recording the event, but they weren't helping. I mean, they really weren't. It was the good people and the good Samaritans throughout the state of Florida. There was people that came even further than me. I drove over 2 hours to be there. I drove over 2 hours to get back home. So you're talking about a lot of driving, a lot of time. I am absolutely so proud that not only when we search, when we have searched in the past, there wasn't a group of people. This was my first experience signing up, being asked to come and help first. I don't usually hear those things from sheriffs and things of that nature, but just being asked for all volunteers, all hands on deck first and foremost. And then, being in this like this cattle line where you got to go up and sign up and get pictures taken with your driver's license, basically give them all your information. And I didn't understand it, but when I was talking to one of the officers there, apparently, this is I don't want to say a strategy they use, but this is something where they can get people that want to help and they can get they'll know who's out there. So people come in, they show their driver's license, and those can be used later. Say if something did happen to this little boy and say he was abducted, for example, he would have, somebody may have come out there to help that was responsible. So they take pictures of your driver's license with your face next to it. They write your name down, your date of birth down. So this was the first time that I actually experienced standing in a line and having to tie a piece of, crime scene tape. That's what they give you, crime scene tape around our ankles. So they know that we've been properly registered with the sheriff while we're out there searching for this little boy. And so they told us they wanted us to search in this area. Everybody was kind of shuttled into one certain area. And it's my understanding that the people that actually found him broke away from, didn't want to go where everybody else was going, and actually decided to, after being told not to go there, decided to go there anyway. So kudos to them. I didn't know you could do that. I'm following instruction and direction. But if I would have known that we could just kind of go anywhere we wanted to out there, I would have been anywhere that I wanted to out there. Because I'm telling you, the side we were on, when I observed that side, I'm like, there is no way that this little boy is over here. There's just no way. The grounds were pretty rough. I mean, ridiculously rough. I'm sure the area he was at had a lot of briars, a lot of stuff, but it didn't have the ravines. It didn't have there were some deep ravines on the side, and we're trying to find places to cross and, get past them, which we did. That's how I kind of, twisted. I twisted my neck. I twisted my ankle. I was walking through poison oak. I don't know how I am not just covered from head to toe. I've got literally cuts all over my leg. I don't know if you can see that. You guys probably can't, but there's cuts like literally all over my leg. on both of them because I was wearing yoga pants that had a little, from my boot to the pant, this much was exposed skin. And I'm walking around and kicking briars all over the place. And it was hot. It was hot. It was a lot of walking. It was a lot of searching. It was a lot of, unknowns. And honestly, I wasn't having it. If that was what we were dealing with, and that's what that child had to go through, and jumping over 3 fences to get there, I knew that there was no way that that child was back there. And I tell you, when I was looking around and talking to other people, I was losing hope. I really was. And I'm like, I know the statistics. I know he has to be found within the first 48 hours. I know he has to be found within the first 48 hours. So he was found within 24 hours. And this just shows you, when children go missing, they are found. Even in rural areas and desolate areas and mountainous terrain, when a child wanders off, they only wander off so far in a 24-hour period. That's it. And they're found. And this was a great day. I was really happy that I was a part of it. I was really happy to bring you guys. But to be honest with you, I was literally the only YouTuber out there searching. I was. Everybody else was volunteers. The media was stationed where they were stationed, and which I was right next to where I stationed. I put my stuff up at. But I'm just happy. I'm happy that we were a part of something that was so good. I'm happy that we were a part of this event, and I'm happy this little boy came home. I mean, this is really this endings that we want. I don't like the endings that we get most of the time. This is the ending I love to report. I have to be honest with you. It just brightens my heart. It brightens my soul. I feel like I'm on cloud 9 that, we were a part of something really good, and we really did help. And so kudos to all of you, kudos to me, kudos to the other people that were monitoring the situation and reporting on it. Great reporting. But I have to be honest with you, it's hard for a true crimer not to go straight to the gutter when you're dealing with a situation like this. It really is. So good morning, Brandy. Nice to see you in here this morning. Pure Country Woman, Cindy Lewis. Nice to see you. MJ, Manda, Gemini 80. Chili Chick, nice to see you. Tristan, nice to see you as well. Ricky Beavers is in the house. I love you, my friend. Nice to see you. I still haven't called you. I almost want to call you now because I'm going to probably forget by the time this is over. But that's okay. That's okay. I'll open up the panel or open up the phone lines. I'll do something today because I really haven't had an opportunity to do that. We've talked about a lot of different cases. And then we've had the Alec Murdaugh trial. I've been working literally 10, 11, and 12-hour days over the last several weeks. So it's just been, and I'm leaving soon. Like today is the 25th. Like I'm leaving soon, like really, really soon. And to go to DC, and it's been a whirlwind. This year, I didn't think I was going to be this busy. I am truly this busy. I'm literally dumbfounded as how busy I truly am right now at the beginning of this year. I kind of hoping that it lightens up a little bit. Nice to see you, Gigi, for life. Holly, Jessica, Angel. Nice to see you. We even have a Facebook user this morning. Good morning. I can't see who you are, but good morning. It's nice to have you here. Robert's Girl, Midnight Nurse. It's nice to see you. Jeannie, Pink, Kitty Cats, Dodo in the house. Tammy. Well, it's not just Buck Cherry Lover. I love Buck Cherry too. I went to their concert. I stayed at a boutique hotel in St. Pete, and I was literally 2 rows back from the stage. It was a smaller arena. I don't know if that's the Buck Cherry you're talking about, but it was a smaller arena. I had an amazing time, and I was right there. The one thing I hated about that is we had the hotel had a little go-kart that they drove us to the thing, and they said, well, as long as you call us by this time. I left the concert early to make sure I had a ride back to the hotel so we didn't have to walk. And I went outside to call them. They said they were going to send somebody and never sent anybody. By the time I called them, like, oh, well, we don't do that after so-and-so time. I said, yes, I understand that. That's why I called you before. So we had to walk back. My husband and my ex-husband and I had to walk back from the event back to the hotel. And downtown St. Petersburg at night, it is frustrating. You're walking over people laying on the sidewalk, people walking behind you that are homeless. It was just creepy. It was really, really creepy. And I remember turning around to one guy because he just pops up and starts following us. I just looked at him and I said, I wouldn't. Today's not your day. I turned around and went back the other way. I don't know what he was doing, but I got creeped out, and he was messing with the wrong person at that moment. I'm telling you, I was a hot mama. Gigi, pet detective. Lacey, Wendy, Kimberly, nice to see you. Shannon 777, Bean Feather, it's nice to see you. So Float Mama, just an old lady. Guidance is up this morning. Good morning, Love Bug. Good morning. If it wasn't for guidance, I wouldn't even have, to be honest with you, I wouldn't even have been out there looking for that boy. I had no clue. I wasn't. We were doing the Alec Murdaugh trial. And I literally didn't even hear about this child. And by the time she was ready to gear up and head out that night. And I'm thinking, I told her I'd look at the maps, which I did. And I knew what kind of situation we were walking into. And, so she's the one that really tipped the hat for me. I didn't even hear about this baby. And when I cut this off for Alec Murdaugh, again, if it wasn't for her texting me, I wouldn't have been out there yesterday. I really wouldn't have, because I wouldn't have known about it. I would have probably knew about it later in the morning when I started seeing people talking about it. But we would have missed an opportunity to help a family, and that would have been such a shame. So thank you, Guidance, for that. And it's a team effort, here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. It's a team effort, and we all work hard to do our thing. And not only that, but Guidance was behind the scenes because I'm an ounce of prevention type of gal. I want to believe the best in everybody, but however, we do true crime. We know that that's not always the case. So we wanted to make sure if this boy wasn't found, that we had all the information on the parents that we could start diving into. And she started getting me stuff literally just like this. We started getting information in on aunts, uncles, family members. But we have to, great. Thank God. This case turned out the way it did, and I couldn't be any I'm still smitten. I really am. I'm so, I'm just smitten. I'm so happy to have been a part of a child being reunited with his family after being gone, a little 2-year-old boy. When you're out there and you're sweating and you're looking and you're not finding anything and you're not hearing that little boy respond to your calls, you start losing hope. There's no explanation about it. You kind of know when you know. And I knew where we were searching, he was not there. There's no way. I've done enough of these that I know, and there was just no way. Where he was found seemed more appropriate. I wish they would have channeled everybody in that area. That would have been more appropriate. It wasn't near as treacherous as the area that we were in. And it would have been, hopefully would have found him. But, you never know. You never know. I mean, a 2-year-old is a 2-year-old. They can get themselves into, weird, unpredictable places. So just happy, just absolutely happy that this is not a case that we are going to have to cover. That makes me extremely happy. Blueberry Muffin, nice to see you. Oh, just Samantha in the house. Kelly under chandeliers. The question is, do you hang from them? No, I'm just joking. I need to stop. I had entirely too much rest. After I came home and we did Alec Murdaugh, I swear to you guys, when I got out of here, I literally went to bed and laid down and turned a movie on. I don't think I watched that movie 5 minutes before I was out. I woke up this morning, or actually I woke up last night at about 8 o'clock, and I looked at the time. I'm like, it's 8 o'clock at night. And I'm like, I need to go back to bed. And I didn't even stay up. And I ended up going back to bed and waking up at 2. And so I checked everything at 2. I guess Dolly must have came live after 2, but I slept until 6 o'clock this morning. I woke up like maybe 2 or 3 times last night. And it's understandable because I went to bed at like 6 o'clock yesterday. I slept, with the wake up and everything, but I still had to have slept 10 or 11 hours yesterday. I was exhausted. And when I say I'm exhausted, I'm exhausted. I don't sleep like that. I'm lucky to get 6 to 8 hours of sleep a night. But anyways, getting on with this, we got a lot to cover today. And then I'm going to open up the phone lines and just chat with you guys because I haven't seen you guys. I haven't heard from you guys in a while. I don't see a whole lot of people on this morning on their lives. So, I mean, why not, right? So many of you are new to this channel. We read it from a book called The Language of Letting Go. A lot of people in my chat, that may be like me. I have a story. My story is, of childhood trauma, drugs, alcohol in my young adulthood, recovery, and a lot of stuff, and I try to do good in this world. I try to take my experiences and apply them so somebody else doesn't have to go through them. And so one of the books that I started reading over 15 years ago was A Language of Let It Go. And it's like a daily devotional meditation type of book that's, and we read it every year, but it seems like every year it's almost like it's a new book to us because we forget what we read the year prior. We get something out of the assertions, from one year to the next. And so I find this book very, it's just heartwarming. It's content. It provides content for me. And I think other people, if I need to hear it, there's somebody in my audience that needs to hear it. It only takes just a few minutes. So, I don't mind taking a few minutes out to give some people some positive vibes, right? So February 26th says, let God and your intuition lead the way. I define synchronicity, or I can't even pronounce this word. Synchronicity, yes. I've defined synchronicity as an external event which triggers an internal knowing. It has to do with the events that are significant coincidences, such as when you're trying to solve a problem and someone just happens to call. During the conversation, the caller just happens to give a clue or an answer to a difficulty. And it says, I was talking to my friend Kyle one day. I was in the final stages of writing, Paying It by Heart, but I didn't know what the ending was. The book was an in-depth life review. I was astounded by the number of experiences I've had. I've been a pauper, a drug addict, a codependent, a Midwestern wife, a married woman, a single parent on welfare, a secretary, a journalist, a chemical dependency counselor, a book author, a bereaved parent, and a Californian. I've traveled the Middle East, across the United States, ran a bookstore, and now, although I've taken the long, hard road to get there, I live at the beach. There's nothing left for me to do. I know one thing you want to do that you haven't done yet, Kyle said, and she says, what's that? There's a long silence, and I thought maybe he hung up. Just a minute, he says. I'm thinking. I know, he says. You've never jumped out of a plane. I forgot about the conversation. Within a few days, the phone rang. A man who had worked on my house about 9 months before was on the line. He reintroduced himself. Then he explained why he was calling. He said he was a skydiver, and he asked if I'd like to go to the drop zone with him sometime and maybe make a tandem jump. A few months later, I went with him to the skydiving Elsinore, if I'm saying that right. I learned that day that jumping out of the airplane was something I very much wanted to do. And the skydiving experience was exactly the ending I needed for my book. Trust your inner guidance. Our higher power works in mysterious ways. Listen to people and watch for signs that trigger your inner knowing. God help me be open to all ways to speak to me and help guide me along my path. So I thought that was really interesting because you guys know I pack, and I tell you guys all the time, like if something falls on the floor while I'm trying to get packed up to leave, I grab it and take it with me. And you know what? Every time I choose not to, I find when I'm there, I needed it. Isn't that crazy? And it happened the other day when I went to West Palm Beach. The jeans were sitting right there. My mind kept going to the jeans and saying, you need to take those. But I'm thinking, I'm going further south to West Palm Beach in Florida heat. I only need shorts. Guess what? When I got there, I was freezing. I needed those jeans. And I did not grab one pair of pants because I was going to West Palm Beach. And if I would have just grabbed them. But anyways, I thought that was a good lesson today. We need to get out of ourselves. We need to do more skydiving. I haven't skydived yet, but I have a friend that invited me, and I was supposed to go in July and have not. So I've got to get a hold of my girl and see when we're going to skydive. Bullhorn Betty's going to go skydiving. Mark my words. Mark my words. I hope everybody's having a wonderful time this morning. We got some great news. In addition to finding a little boy out in the middle of nowhere, I get up this morning and Olivia, Kaylee Gonzalez's sister. Many of you guys didn't know she was pregnant at the time her sister was murdered, and throughout all this, she was literally part of the backbone of that family, the glue that hold that family together during this horrible time. With losing a sister and losing a family member. And she was their rock. She did a lot of searching. She was the one that found the Twitch feed of Kaylee and Maddie at the grub truck. And so we had an opportunity to sit down and meet with them and interview them. I'm still working. I kind of got away from the interview. It's the only one. I'm the only one that has the entire interview. Some stuff needs to be brought out, needs to be taken out because it was off the record conversations. So I'm still working on that, and then I'll put that up. But we had an opportunity to meet with the family, and I didn't realize how pregnant she was. She was beautiful, and lo and behold, she did have her baby. And what a precious little girl. And so I wanted you guys to see this little baby. Because, it's sad to say, but with every death comes a new life. And from the minute you're born, the reason why you need to live for yourself is because every single day you're closer to death. For the minute that doctor slaps you on the back of your butt, you've only got one life to live, and you need to make it the best it can possibly be. Well, no notifications this morning again. Who said that? Patricia. So what I would recommend, don't do it right now. But when we kill the live, is go out there and unsubscribe and resubscribe and then put the bell on. They also might not be putting out the notifications because I did a lot of lives yesterday, and you only have so many lives that they'll notify people on during a given day. So I might have hit that magic number yesterday, and it hasn't been quite 24 hours yet. So people might not be getting, I think I did like 4 lives yesterday, and so I just don't think that it may have something to do with that, for all I know. But make sure also that bell, because when you subscribe, it personalizes your bell for you. So unless you see the entire bell grayed in, you're not getting all the notifications. You can designate that through that bell to push all notifications to you, as opposed to the personalization. So that you might want to try that. But I'm happy you found me. It's nice to see you this morning. Okay, let me get this up. There we go. Look at this proud grandfather. So happy. I thought this was just precious. I really did. Let me put this up a little bit bigger. See if we can get this a little bit bigger. Grandpa with baby. Theodora. What was it? Theodora. I have it on the I just got out of it, and I probably should go back because I know it's Theodora, but it's Maddie K. Theodora Maddie K. Stevenson. So they hashtagged Maddie K, and I'm sure you guys can figure out why. So there's Grandpa holding the newest member of the Gonzalez family in his little hands. Look at that baby. Oh, so precious. So precious. And you can see the pure joy on his face. And I just think It is so, so, so precious. So let's look at grandma, shall we? She's too pretty to be a grandma. I have to be honest with you. Christy is entirely too pretty to be a grandma. She's oh, look at that precious baby. Look at that precious baby. Oh my gosh, I'm like drooling. So beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I'm sharing these because they shared them on their family website, Facebook page. There is happy grandma right there looking down at her precious granddaughter. Look at that. That is just precious. I know it's hard. I'm tearing up too. I am tearing up too. But she's absolutely precious. And look at that little squishy face with those cheeks. Oh my gosh. I'm in love. I'm in love. The precious, precious baby. So I thought that was, I wanted to show you that. And then here, holy crap. I was going through it. Thank goodness, because we have people that that send me stuff by email to look at, review, and some of the stuff we talk about. There's so much stuff that comes to me that sometimes it's hard to talk about it. Sometimes it's there's just too much. I can't go over all the stuff. But this one captured my attention because, again, I was out in the fields looking for a 2-year-old child while the court hearing was going on yesterday. I personally missed a big chunk of his testimony. We kind of caught up through the lunch break because I got back here right about the time they took lunch. So we were able to come on here and chat and everything like that. But holy crap, Alec just can't seem to keep his butt out of trouble to save his life. Like right now, he's trying to save his life. And what do? As soon as he gets off the witness stand and they're done for the day, he gets arrested again. That is correct. He is charged with a misdemeanor. Now, there are a few things, and I think it's notable that we preface this. Now, while he was on the stand, we noticed he had, it could have been nerves, albeit it could have been nerves. It could have been a number of things. But he seemed to have dry mouth. He seemed to have some things going on with him. He was charged with contraband. Now, some people are saying, if you guys remember, the sister tried to hand him a book. And I don't believe, and she was reprimanded for that and told that she cannot do that. I don't think she did that again. I really don't get it. When you lie, your mouth gets dry. Yeah, there's a lot of things that go into it. This is what I heard from the inside of the courtroom. I found out that when he took the stand, there were a couple of jury members that were crying with him. That is not necessarily a good sign for somebody I perceive to be guilty. Okay. Now I'm not the jury. This is how our judicial system runs. So whatever comes out of that jury is whatever comes out of that jury. But I would have thought, because the whole book incident happened over a week ago, I would think that they would have arrested him at that time. So my question is, what new contraband was introduced to him that he got arrested for? Because I don't think that book was really considered contraband, because this is kind of how it goes, at least my understanding of it. You actually, for something to be classified or deemed as contraband, you actually have to take possession of something and try to get it in. I don't know if a book would rise to a misdemeanor charge, and especially since it happened a while ago. I don't know. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. It could be the book. It could be something more. But he has been charged with a misdemeanor for contraband. And this was after he got off the stands and left. So I'm just going to read this for you so you guys are all up to snuff on this. And then we're going to open up. I think I want to open up the panel today, because I think I want to see, you guys don't have to be up here with your faces on. I'm not going to hide you, but you guys, every person has to show me their face behind the screen, but every person has the opportunity to turn off their camera. And just like you see right here, I'm able to turn off my camera. So I still want you guys to come up, the ones that would like to participate. And then maybe later we will turn on the phones for those that like the call-in feature and to call in. But I know there are some people that have some opinions about the Idaho 4, just anything. And we're not limiting discussion on just these two cases either. If you want to talk about another case, if you know about another family in need, if you if there's something that's near and dear to you, this would be a great time for you guys to come up and discuss it. So in this particular article, so get it a little bigger for you guys. I don't know how big it's going to let me get it. Let me see if I will it let me? I wish it would let me. I guess not. Maybe it's because I need to push. Okay. There we go. Maybe I can put my face back on now. When I did that, it cut some of it off. So let me go back over here. I'm going to try to get it so you guys can read for the ones that are hearing and impaired. I do talk loud, but that's because I'm hearing and impaired as well. So I'm trying to get this. Okay, so here, I think we got it big enough. So in Colton County, South Carolina, former attorney Alec Murdaugh, on trial for murder of his wife, Maggie, and his son, Paul, is facing a new misdemeanor charge. According to the Colton County Sheriff's Office, Murdaugh was arrested on February 24th on a misdemeanor warrant issued by Colton. He is being held for South Carolina. He is being held for the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, i.e. SLED. The new charges follow Murdaugh testifying in his own trial. Murdaugh took the witness stand on February 23rd and stepped down on February 24th after nearly 14 hours of testimony and cross-examination. This is a developing story, and the CCSO and SLED were contacted for information on the arrest warrant and the new misdemeanor charges Murdaugh is facing. So far, we don't really have a whole lot to go on related to this. I'm just going to go back just ever so slightly and see if I can find, pull this down just a little bit. So let me just do a search here for Alec Murdaugh arrest today and see if we can find any more updated information, maybe something a little sooner. That was something I got 2 hours ago. Here's live. Let's see what they have here, if they have any new information here. It is not clear what the new charge is. However, jail records state a misdemeanor warrant was drawn up for Murdaugh by the Colton County Sheriff's Office. Murdaugh, 54, is currently on trial for killing his wife and son back in June of 2021. Deputies have not released details on the charges or the specified an arraignment date. So typically when they charge somebody, they have an arraignment date within 24 hours, and that includes weekends. So I have a funny feeling he's going to be he's probably going to be visiting a judge this morning for an arraignment. He's not going to be able to make bail or anything like that because he's on charges for murder. They're not going to let him out. So Big Red is a crooked lawyer. This is why Reba McEntire wrote the song, not really. The lights went out in Georgia. That's a good one. Yeah, yep. That would be his new theme song, right? Oh, Caitlin says, hey, y'all, just popping in. I have missed all the lives since February 16 because my dad went to the hospital. He stubbed his toe and it got infected and ended up removing the entire. Oh, my goodness, Caitlin, I am so sorry. How awful. How absolutely awful. I'm really sorry for that. We'll be keeping you in our prayers, definitely keeping you and your family in our prayers this morning. So sorry to hear that. That's awful. Absolutely awful. Let me see if I can get in here. Colton County Clerk of Records. Resume your journey. I guess I've already been here a couple times. Oh, Lordy. Let's see what we got. Okay, we're going to accept. Last name, Murdaugh. Last name, Alec. Search. Well, I don't see it in. Is this his murder one? Because I know he's got a lot of them, and for whatever reason, maybe they're different cases. I mean, I'm blocked. Don't block me. Non-jury judgment. So it doesn't seem like, at least on this side, that they have Alexander. Let me put his full name. Can somebody give me Alec's full name, proper spelling of it? I'm going to plug this in here because it's not pulling up any, and it's got his Alec as his name, and I could have swore that he's got a much lengthier name than Alec, but I could be wrong. Oh, Merja gifted at 5. I just got this information. Merja gifted 5 memberships. Let me go on the side where I can see those. Thank you. And Tammy, 8 month. I don't get to see that either. Thank you. Tammy says, thank you for what you do. And I'm sorry I missed you guys, especially on this back end, because it kind of sucks a little bit that they don't show this on my StreamYard. And I'm sorry for missing you, Merja. I didn't see you, but thank you for your love and support. I'm trying to find out. Yeah, hold on a second. Let me read this. It won't let me go up any further, so I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry, guys. I wish I could. And I hear, and Mama Bullhorn hasn't called in a few days. So anyways, what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up the lines. I can't find any information on Alexander's or Alec's charges. I can't even, let me go out and see if there's another place for criminal charges. That might be the problem. Might be something completely different for, maybe they have criminal clerk of courts website. Because you would think that they would have all this stuff. Let me just email them. I may just email them for the entire file. Free public record search. Marriage, divorce. Let's see what this one is. Clerk of courts, delinquency. So really the only one is the clerk of courts. And I don't understand, so that I can't find that page. So I don't understand. I can't find his information on here. So let me go ahead and get the panel up, and we'll discuss this. I'm interested in what you guys think. If somebody could please copy this, I'll on the other side and post it. If somebody wants to come up and chat about this, any case, it doesn't have to be the 2 cases that we're covering, and we're not really covering any other cases. It really was just talking about Alec Murdaugh, but also showing the newest member of the Gonzalez family and what a beautiful, precious baby that was. So let me go over here and try to pin this up to the StreamYard. There it is. Oh, it's dropped on me. Pin message. Okay, so we have the StreamYard pinned up front. Drop the mic. Thank you, Kimberly. That was cute. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you. Okay, so here's a truth. According to the Colton County Sheriff's Office, Murdaugh was arrested on February 24th on a misdemeanor warrant issued by Colton. He is being held for South Carolina's law enforcement SLED. I wonder if they found out that he brought pills into the sheriff's office. Maybe something in his testimony. All right, I see you back there, Mammy, the ranch woman. If you want to turn your, there you go. Something in his testimony. You got to turn me down in the background. I can hear myself.
Well, what can I say?
Hello, Mama Bullhorn. I knew if I called you by name, you might come up.
I actually got a notice this morning.
Did you? Some people are complaining that they didn't. I wonder if
I haven't all week.
Huh?
I didn't all week long.
Did you do anything new? Did you unsubscribe and resubscribe, or just started?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Somebody posted on Facebook the two defense attorneys as the two Muppet attorneys. The old guys on the Muppets.
Oh, our crew calls them Mr. Magoo and Poot. Mr. Poot.
Whatever. But they're grabbing, to put him on the stand, he had to relinquish all his rights for objections, everything, to testify. And it was like a circus. To me, it was a circus, because every question that the AG asked, he answered with a prolonged story. In other words, he never said yes, he never said no, he never acknowledged. He's an expert at avoiding questions.
Yeah, and he wouldn't admit to being a prominent figure of the community. And we all know the Murdaugh name was a very prominent name of Low Country, and he just fought.
The thing, he was carrying his dad's badge and his badge around in his car, and he denied using it for special purposes. Oh, give me a break.
And then they find it hanging out of his pants when he's at the boat accident.
Yes.
Another investigation that he's under for his conduct.
Well, if he doesn't go down for this, he'll go down for the 90 other charges.
I know. He's going to be in prison for a really long time. But I truly believe in my heart and in my soul, he not only did he kill his family, I believe he did it himself. Some people are on, they believe that it's possible that he, oh, hold on, I got some other people down in the chat. Guidance, I see you. Suzanne, can I see you? Okay, perfect. I see you. I'll bring you guys up in just a second. If you guys want to turn your cameras off, I'm just going to take a few minutes with my mom. And then I'll bring you up. But you know, what was I talking about?
Murdaugh,
I know that, but I was talking about something specific and I forgot what it was.
I forgot what it was too when you were talking to the guidance. The other thing I wanted to bring up, the owner of 111122 sold it to the college. Gave it away to the college, and they're going to demolish it.
All right, hold on just a second. Suzanne and Guidance, I'm going to go ahead and pull you guys up now. Make sure you delete me in your background if you don't want your face on the screen. You would be a good time to stop the camera, but I'm bringing you up now, both of you. All right, Mom, you're going to be, hi. All right, give me just a second. We're going to go around the room, Mom. Just hold on just a second. Guidance. Guidance.
Hey.
Hello. What's shaking bacon?
I wanted to say thank you so much for going. I was ready when I was on the phone, if I didn't have a parent meeting for my daughter's after school, I would have booked it already up there.
Right.
So thank you. And my babysitter totally fell through. But
yeah, I know. I read your comments in the morning when because I fell asleep on you. I didn't mean to.
I think my texts were more of like an argument with myself. I'm going, oh shoot, no, babysitter canceled. I'm going, no, man. And then I just started sending all the information. I do have a message.
It was rough.
What? Yeah. It makes me think of like Mayaka. It was very rural, very farm, very dense, very vegetation. My fear was of all of the predators in Florida. There's a lot of animal predators and also poisonous plants along with that. So this is just a blessing that he was found.
Yeah, and
thank you for being a part of it.
Red berries on them, those are attractive to young children, and those are very dangerous, very harmful for a child. He could have gotten something. He could have. I mean, I could tell you that with the briars, when those things scratch you, they start burning, and so my legs felt like I had 1,000 ants biting me.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with running through the Florida woods. Back when I grew up in Northport, the Laundry neighborhood. Back when there was only 4 houses in that neighborhood, I was running through those woods and hopping over snakes and causing all kinds of trouble. So adults can't even survive overnight like that in the woods, let alone a 2-year-old in a Florida element. So he was definitely being watched over. So thank you. And the family did want to reach out and say thank you for everything and all the support and all hands on deck helping find this baby. I have been in communication with them.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Hold on just a second. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to go down the line here. Suzanne, how are you doing this morning, love? Oops, I just hit the mic. Oh, hold on. Why is it not coming? There we go. Hey, Suzanne.
Hi.
How are you?
You're amazing. You're like a busy beaver.
Because we have Ricky Fever in the house. My mom just fell off.
I agree with your mom. That's exactly what I was thinking. Why he was arrested again was for that badge, because that was he was
They charged him with
contraband. He got arrested.
Contraband is meaning that you're trying to bring into the prison or into the jail with you. That would be considered contraband. I don't think he tried to bring those.
Well, when he went to the restroom before he got on the stand, the first thing in my head was, he's getting a pocket full of pills. That's the first thing that went in my head. And how I think about this is supposed to come out funny, so I hope it does. What I was thinking about this whole situation with the trial is that takes the cake. That's the frosting on the cake. There's been so much frosting put on my cake about this trial that the whole cake is frosting.
Yeah. All right. What did you
think? Does that make sense?
What did you think about his testimony? Did he sway you at all with his testimony?
He just changed everything. He tried to change everything to fit the timeline, from the OnStar. And the one that got my goat, there was a lot of things that got my goat, but the one thing that got my goat was about the pills. How can anybody in this world take 60 pills a day?
That's
and
live.
live?
And I don't know how he's able to function or stay alive with that amount of pills. So hold on, Suzanne. I'm going to get
He's lying.
And then I'm going to come back to you, and then we'll open up the panel for discussion, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Ricky, how are you doing, my love?
All right, Betty. Good to see. I would say good to see you. Well, I can say that anyway.
It's good to hear from me, huh?
Yeah. Wow, I listened to the Murdaugh trial. Very interesting. I didn't listen to it a lot, but I did since he was on the stand. I find it very interesting. But dang, all that money that he took from people, isn't that
makes you
something?
sick?
He took a lot of money, didn't he?
He took an awful, the amount of money that they can prove that he took was well over $10 million.
Where's it all at?
That's what I'd like to know. But you know what? He had 2 houses. He had all these, his family wanted for nothing. They had assistants at every single house. They had workers at every single house. I think it was just his lifestyle. They were living above their means in addition to his drug use.
Right. Betty, I thank you for going to church for that little 2-year-old boy, JJ. And I want you to know I did pray, and I believe in miracles, and this was a miracle that this child was safe, with all the things out there. And I just prayed, and I felt comforted. I felt comfort about it, that he was going to be found, and he was.
Yeah.
That's great. It makes me think about Summer Wells again, though, because that baby should have been found.
She should have been found. Yes, yes, yes. And I've now seen firsthand the coordination of law enforcement and how they handle, volunteers, and how, this stuff does help when, people want to believe law enforcement can only do what they can do.
Sure.
Things like this, when you have a 2-year-old child missing and the child has wandered off from home, it's all hands on deck.
Right.
It is. There is no them. There's no us. It is a we effort. It is a collective effort. I mean, it was so. I can't express. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. I can't express the feeling I got, because I was one of the first people at that the gas station. And, when I first got there, a few cars pulled up, there was a handful of people. So I was like concerned, like, this is all that's coming out here. And by the time we started registering and everything like that, there were people literally wrapped around that entire gas station. It was the most spectacular.
That's awesome. I was with you. I was listening. I was with you when you was talking. I was there.
Yeah.
I was listening. Well, Betty, we're dropping this. We're dropping the song on Spotify today. Make Her Great Again, and so I'm excited about that. And excited about. I have had 40,000 views on all my songs in the month of January, and I have over 4,200 listeners on Spotify. And we're climbing. I'm giving God the praise, honor, and the glory. And I still got on my mind about the kids' ranch that's never stopped.
I want to talk to you about that. And since you're on here, I'm just going to say it on here. I think the first step for that is getting a nonprofit going, so people have a way of donating to you.
Well, that's what I said something about doing. I mentioned that the other day. And I do have a LLC, which I haven't done anything with it.
No, it needs to be a nonprofit, because this is going to take a lot of resources.
Oh, sure it is.
And people love the fact that they can contribute to nonprofits and get a tax write-off for the contribution. And that will help a lot. It'll help a lot with my efforts, because I do have people that would be willing to contribute to stuff like that, but they want that tax.
And Debbie, and hey, Betty, this is needed immediately. This skid ranch needs to come up immediately.
I agree.
I know there's a lot red tape involved, but when God lays something on somebody's heart, you gotta run with us. This is for a great cause and a great thing. Because I see kids every day that they need love. Like little Chevelle here. Her mother has cancer, and now it's in her pancreas, and she's in prison. She's gonna be getting out in April, they say. But if she makes it to April, but I pray that she does. I don't wish nothing bad on no one, and my heart's out for little Chevelle. And I give her all the love I can, and and I'll be honest, God has blessed me since I stepped up to the plate when she was 2 weeks old, and of course I'm not looking for brownie points or anything like that. I'm just looking to do what's right and to make a difference in America. And also, Debbie, I don't know why I keep calling you Debbie. Sorry, Betty.
That's okay.
Also, I want to tell you this about what's going on in this country. I don't know if you knew it, but they said that a friend of mine was telling me that Putin was on TV saying that our government's doing all this stuff to us, and which I really don't put nothing past nothing these days. What's going on in America with all these crises that we're having, and it really troubles my heart, because I do love people. I want everybody to have the best, and I think everybody deserves the best. And for all this stuff to be going on, sending all this money to Ukraine, all that money's been sent over there, needs to be put here.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but we got children. You know, when we don't have homeless, when our vets aren't sick, when our children are well taken care for and have food in their tummies, then yeah, maybe we can work on other things around the globe. But when we have our own stuff going on right here at home, and you're hearing of billions of dollars, like right now, we need a database for our children. That $1 billion could have went to hiring more social workers, building this system that needs to be built for our children, going into laws, changing our laws. And here we are taking away from our own children of this country to support and support war and to support another country. There, I'm very sympathetic to other countries' needs, but I'm also very much concerned about what we're doing to our own people here at home. There's a lot of people in need here, and I just would love to see the help come here first.
Right, Betty, I agree. And I do want to challenge everybody to check out rickybeavers.com. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, my website, please do so. My Facebook, be greatly appreciated. And I'm trying to get on that show. And Betty, thank you so much for trying to help me there. I noticed you was with Diamond Silk. And that celebration. I listened to all that, by the way, when you was there, and I've been listening to Silk, and I did listen to Diamond and Silk before, and I sent out an email to her and sent her that song, and hoping that maybe I might be a guest on her show, and let's see just what God has in plan, because God does got everything planned. You know what I mean?
I believe it. I believe it. You know, I can tell you through the work and the advocacy I've done, I never thought I'd be where I am. Not just on YouTube, but, in my personal endeavors, aside from this channel, I never expected to be where I am. And I'm very thankful for that and very blessed.
And I want everybody to give to Bullhorn Betty. She needs all the support she can get, and it'd be greatly appreciated. And Betty, would you want to tell them how they could do that? Because I do want everybody.
Got it down. It's a rolling screen down below. If they want to make a contribution, we're always out on the go. When there's a case, we try to get boots on the ground as quickly as possible. And in this one, this is a particular situation where this child was missing 2 hours away from my home. That was something I could do immediately. I got in my car without thinking, woke up at 2 a.m. and got out there to help search for this little boy. Yes, we covered it. We did cover the case, on lives and stuff, but we can double duty. We can walk and chew gum at the same time.
You go, girl. Thank you for everything that you do. And everybody needs to check out Ricky Beavers on Spotify too. I got a veteran song. I got a song called The Ones in Black and Blue.
If you send me all the links to your stuff, I'll put it in the description. I'll add it to the description. So every time I come live, they'll have your links and everything in the description of any lives that I do, whether it's, you're a part of them or not. And I can help advocate that way for you.
Well, thank you, Betty. And I do need to learn I do need to do that nonprofit organization. I need to make that happen, and need to find out what would it take to get that done.
Yeah, and we can help with that. We can help raise money for the nonprofit and stuff like that, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, depending on where you are, I know here in Florida, when we did our nonprofit several years ago, it cost about $3,500 to set up.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. I want to do that, but I draw disability right now. I'm drawing Social Security and SSI, and that creates a kind of a problem.
It shouldn't affect it because it's a nonprofit. If you don't collect funds from it and you spend down those funds on the ranch and other things,
well, that's where all that money, that's where it would all go. Just like when I do shows, I was going to take the money, put it in a nonprofit.
Yeah,
and don't get that built up, and then
it'll be much, much better for you in the long run, especially with your disability and stuff. But I would talk to I don't know what state you're in, but
Kentucky.
In Kentucky, well, you have a Kentucky, a bar association for Kentucky. Yes. And typically you can reach out to them and get a consultation with an attorney for like a nominal fee for about a half an hour, either on the phone or in person. That would be the first place I'd start out, is find an attorney that does nonprofits, and then talk to them about your specific goals. And it should be nominal. It should be like under $50 to meet with an attorney.
Okay. But no, Betty, the reason I kind of get nervous about all that because when I took care of my mom,
Mm-hmm.
I had people doing it, and and they was getting paid through Brad, an organization here in town, a program, and they just wasn't doing what I was doing because I would be honest, they was getting paid and I was doing most of the work.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I prayed and told the Lord, I'm gonna do it myself. And Betty, this is a true story. I prayed about it, and then God spoke to me and told me if I'd done that when I got through, that I'd wind up on the Social Security office $10,000 to $12,000, and that did happen.
Yeah.
Of course, I am paying. They are taking $10 a month out of my check for that.
Well, that's why you want to make sure you talk to an attorney and tell them your whole entire situation so they can protect you. I mean, it may be one of those things where you need to, have a trust made and then have the trust. There's ways around all of this. I can tell you that there's definitely ways around all of it.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I want to get off this. I want to get off Social Security. Honestly, I want to be out here singing to the world. I want to make a difference in not just children, but in every individual here in America. I want to help feed the poor, clothe the poor, and I want people to know that God is real. And I want everyone to feel important and special because you're not on earth by purpose. You're here for a reason.
Yeah.
We all have a talent. We all have gifts. And we just got to find that gift,
We all have our path. We all
and Betty, the thing about with me, be honest, I own a vehicle. Yes, I do. I got my own music equipment. I do shows. But the thing about it is, my problem is finding someone dependable to drive, to do what I need to do. It takes money to get things done, what needs to be done. And everybody hollers, money's root of all evil. Well, the thing about it is, there's different ways of looking at that, at the way you use the money. That's where, people misinterpret that, about money is the root of all evil. It is at a certain extent, but God owns it all anyway. Everything belongs to him. We're just borrowing everything down here, And Betty, but I'll tell you what, I'll let you run on to someone else, honey, and God bless each and everybody. And again, everybody, please check out rickybeavers.com. Later on today, go look for Make America Great Again on Spotify. Check out Ricky Beavers. Be greatly appreciated. God bless each and every one. Remember, God loves you, and Ricky Beavers loves you along with Bullhorn and Betty.
Oh, thank you. God bless you.
Okay.
Take care.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. So just getting back to our conversation. So what do you personally, how much of the stuff have you watched, Guidance, of the Alex Murdaugh trial?
I did not follow it until the actual trial whatsoever, because I've been concentrating on our kids. And following it through, it definitely gives me the good old boy vibes, the entitlement vibes, the I'm better than thou. It's a respect factor of the good old boy vibes. So he's at the top of the feeding chain. So a lot of people are afraid or intimidated to speak out, which is very common throughout everywhere. Many people don't speak because of that unspoken power or flashing who they are. Yeah. I have noticed, I just hope that when they rest their case, that the prosecution will emphasize that he can get anybody to believe his story. He is a master manipulator of his words, but in return, admitted to mostly lying.
Yeah.
Emphasizing on that, because I think they were trying to sideline him with all the financial questions and then hit him with the lies on that ultimate when he went to hit the stand.
Well, here's the crazy thing. So I did some polls yesterday in the chat, and they were, and I love the audience because they're honest, and I love cultivating that environment that, we don't all have to parrot each other. And we do have, as long as we're respectful, and there are people that are on both sides of this. There's people that think he's guilty. There's people that think he's innocent, and that are in the chat that discuss it. So I did a poll, and my first poll was, do you think Alec Murdaugh is guilty of killing Maggie and Paul? And so we had an 80-20 So 80%, we had over 300 people, and I think over 180 people took this particular poll. And so 80% of the people believe he's guilty, 20% believe he's innocent. And that was just in the chat of 300 and out of the 180 some people that took the poll. And then I asked if they truly believed, if they believed that the case will end deadlock. Do they believe the jury will be deadlocked? And believe it or not, I got almost a 50-50 split. It was like 48 to 52 or something that they believe that this will be deadlocked. And I thought that those numbers were really interesting. And then so it prompted me to ask them, do you think he is, do you think that the prosecution proved their case? And a lot of people believe that they went off the reservation with the financial crimes, that they spent so much time on the financial crime aspect of it that they really weren't focused on the murder aspect of, especially questioning Alec Murdaugh. What is your opinion of how they handled the whole questioning?
Well, at first, I've said here and there comments of where I think they're concentrating too much on the financial questions throughout the whole trial, and deflecting like Miss Michelle or Michelle. They never really countered in on how she felt, how he made her feel when he was trying to bribe her, as to opposed to just asking details. I honestly think that they were trying to play chess in this, as trying to make it seem like they were going for the finances, but really to turn it around and show that it is a part of a motive, but hit him with, but you said this, and caught him on many lies and many things that he didn't even tell LE. Up until he was on the stand. Sure.
CA, thank you so much for the gifted memberships. I just got notification that she gifted 5 memberships to the people. Whoever got a free membership from ZA, make sure you tell her thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you, ZA. And if I can put in a plug, please, 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 whether it's 1, 5, 10, whatever you can, please donate towards Bullhorn's camera. It's
the camera is
definitely
a necessary item.
Any increment, it was greatly appreciated. And we really want her to have this. It's very well deserved. And a long time coming.
I mean, it's nothing major. We're crowdfunding, so just $1. $1 will do. If everybody contributed $1 over the next month, we can have that camera lickety split. If you would like to donate more, please consider doing so. But what the camera is doing, we have cameras. I mean, it's not that we don't have cameras. This is a very specific camera that's going to allow us to be better at broadcasting our lives in the field. For example, whenever we were out there for the event when the kids got killed in Idaho, they had a celebration of life or some time of event to honor them in the arena. And where they put the media back on the stage, it's so far away that had we had the camera, we could have zoomed in much closer to see the people, just like the news organizations do mainstream media. We're not mainstream media, we're alternative media, but we want to be able to bring you guys the same type of coverage in the same quality as everybody else, because as mainstream media dies out and social media becomes the predominant place that people are getting their news and information, we'll need to have the proper equipment to do that. And so this is just a step forward in that. And again, not to break anybody, not to put it on anybody's shoulders to purchase. It's a large piece of equipment. It's an expensive piece of equipment. So, it's something that we will be utilizing as soon as we can get it, and all that good stuff. So just a thought for those. You guys are always asking, how can you help? And we do have thank you gifts and stuff like that. But really, we do need this camera, because until we get it, you guys are only, when I'm out in the field, we can only bring lives from an iPhone or a cell phone until that camera is put in there and we have a system to live broadcast from these spots. That's the best quality we're going to get on this channel.
And you're one of the very few that are boots on the ground, so it's more than deserved.
Yeah. Yeah, we go out to the places. We don't just, and there's a lot of reasons why we go through the expense of going out to these areas. And here's the primary reason. Every single case that we monitored and watched online through Google, through the news and everything like that, when we get out there, the stuff that we were told and thought is completely different than what really is going on. And by having us out there, we get into the weeds, we get into the dirt, we get into the meat and potatoes of stuff. We are able to uncover a lot. People look at us, they talk to us. We can hear radios when there's a law enforcement out there. We get in the know really quickly. And we report that back to you guys very quickly, much quicker than you will hear on mainstream media.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Wanted to make sure everybody knows that she did not know about it at first, that we were playing it in the background, and we think we should all contribute towards that amazing camera. But on the side note with Alex Murdaugh, I definitely think that they were trying to catch him where he was so mentally focused on the finances that they weren't expecting to be hit with those other questions in the end, because it was getting a little high tension towards there at the end.
Yeah, and this is what I heard is we got notification that there was that some of the jurors were actually crying with him in some cases. You know, like I say, one of the hardest things for me is seeing a grown man cry, you know. But they've got to take into consideration, this is his MO. This is what he's done to help close some of his own cases for when he's representing other people that he ultimately ended up stealing from. And I think the powerful message of those financial crimes, I think, was, even though they went long-winded on him, I think his closing of that section of questioning was very powerful. You sat down with this person. You had to look them in their eyes, and you had to lie to them. Is that correct? Yes. And you
even
had to
children.
talk to this person, and you had to lie to this person. Is that correct? Yep. Parents, kids that lost their freaking parents, he stole from. And that shows you how heartless. Yeah. Now he's off drugs. Now he's a normal person. But the man that's on that stand right now is not the man that was standing before you back on June 7th, 2021. That was a different Alec Murdaugh back then.
I think it's still the same, to be honest. He's just wearing his poker face because this has been ingrained in him. He has seemed like he's always been this person of character and demanding and entitled. So I think that they felt a sense of sympathy and empathy at that point. But once they hit reality and calling him out, calling his bluffs, I think that definitely will make a change. And that's why I hope they definitely will make that comparison in the closing arguments.
Yeah. Thank you, Kimberly. God bless you. Yeah, I am one of these people, and see, the problem is because I have a legal background, things are different for me when I hear these cases as opposed to a layperson, somebody that's just a regular juror, you know, Joe Plumber, you know, stay-at-home mom, you know. You got different levels of education up there. You got different personalities and everything like that. You got moms, you got fathers, you got people that are skeptics, people that aren't skeptics, people that want to believe the good in everybody. You've got a whole mixed bag up there on the jury. You don't know how they're going to how they're going to proceed. But for me, I don't think he didn't sway me. He didn't change my mind, because I'm still hooked on the factors of, somebody else behind the back. Sorry, Suzanne. I didn't realize you were back there. Let me bring Suzanne back up. I didn't even see you. I'm so sorry. But you got the hold on just a second, Suzanne. You got a whole mixed bag of nuts up there on the jury, and you don't know how they're going to sway. But the one thing that is non-emotional, the one thing that doesn't pull on my is the forensic data. And that OnStar data, it sealed it for me. And he has not been able to overcome the OnStar data yet, and all the lies that he said. And his excuse for lying falls on deaf ears with me, because you're saying it's because of this slut agent. And I think that the Attorney Waters bringing up the original video that we watched when that officer showed up on the site, and he's walking, and he's the first thing out of his mouth is, "I just know it has to do with this boat wreck." He lied to him. So Sled wasn't even on the grounds when he started lying. So why would you lie of that specific detail? None of the other details, just the fact that you were down there literally minutes before both your wife and your son were executed. Why would you lie about that?
Is that the part where even his own legal team didn't know until he was on the stand?
Yeah, nobody knew. This is the first time he had talked about being at the kennels. He has lied this entire time until the 23rd. February 23rd was the first time we heard him finally acknowledge that and not only that, but he actually acknowledged that he was at the kennels, and at the kennels minutes before his wife and son were murdered. And he also admitted nobody else was out there.
Yeah, it was definitely damaging, and I think that was the perfect way to end with those questions, because yeah, the jurors got sympathy, but you know what turns after sympathy and empathy? Rage. So I think they turned it to where, yeah, you can cry your sob story, but it's going to turn around real fast, because look what you did and your consequences and who you affected.
And I believe he regrets his decision. I believe he loved his son, and loved his wife. I do believe that. I believe whatever he was going through was pressure, was something that
I've seen some wording on comments, and when they mentioned it in the interview, in the questioning, that he was going through withdrawals in the hotel before, and that he and that he could have possibly had something or smuggled something on him that day, and that could have very well turned him into that rage moment.
And we're talking about him having the 100 pills in his pocket that night, and it seemed awfully funny that his son appeared to have his pants gone through, because clearly he didn't try to turn the kid over, and his phone was there, and maybe he was searching to see if he told his mother that I just found dad with a whole bunch of pills. We know that didn't happen, because they pulled all the records, even the ones that were deleted from the phone during the time he says he was around them, which was odd. Why would Maggie delete calls only from him?
And that's where I'm thinking of some of the rage might have been as well. And motive is more of him in withdrawal and going through all the emotional side effects, besides it possibly if he was in the need for something and thinking it was on them, hiding it, because that'd be the only place they could hide it they couldn't find.
Yeah,
just as a thought. But
let me get this, Suzanne.
I have to jump down, so I want to say thank you. Have a great day. God bless. Bye.
All right, Suzanne. So, what are your thoughts about all of this with these cases, with Alec Murdaugh primarily? Did you have an opportunity? She's muted. Suzanne, if you're going to have to unmute yourself. There you are. There you are.
Well, it went there. Okay.
Did you have an opportunity to watch?
My phone is going crazy. Betty, I've watched this all day long. I am homebound because of my illness.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry.
So I have watched true crime. So anyways, I have to change up and watch other shows because I get so upset about stuff. But I agree with you guys, everything that you said just now. Every time you turned around, he was trying to, he wouldn't answer the question. He would answer the question with try to explain it away. Mm-hmm. And it just got really, he needed to end the testimony, the lawyer, because it just went on and on and on about him trying to explain himself away. And how can your wife and son, and this is sad because the pressure that he was under, and even though I don't believe he was taking 60 pills a day, he probably was an addict. And that just made him go crazy. But him changing everything around and trying to make a alibi for everything. How can somebody come in there and do that to his wife and son in a matter of 5 minutes?
Right, and
it's impossible.
It is, because if you look at the area, it's not like that. I mean, you would know.
No, it's actually a shorter amount of time. It's actually a shorter amount of time that was left for his wife and son to be murdered like that, and for him not to be there.
Yeah,
it just doesn't add up. And I'm like you, I'm an emotional person, but the facts are the facts. And one thing they kept saying about going over and turning his son over, why did he do that? His son was on his hands. He was on his stomach. He was looking for his phone in his back pocket.
His face was in the ground. He was on both of his hands. And even from his, I don't want to, even from his father's own account, his top was not on top. So it's, where did he check the
right.
pulse?
I think he was checking his pockets for pills, because that's the day that his wife and son found pills.
Mm-hmm. There was a lot going on.
That's one of the days, anyways.
Well,
but it's just one lie on top of another, and the attorney did a fantastic job bringing out the more lies. Like the badge, and there was other lies that he brought out too. But the one other thing. I'm trying to hurry. The one other thing that kept going through my mind, I felt so sorry for that friend that was his best friend that he stole money from. And he said he knew him for 30 years.
Yeah, every person that knew and loved Alec Murdaugh, he was lied to and stolen from.
And he tried to explain that away. That he would give an estimate. Well, how much do you think this case is worth? And the people would say $1 million. So he would get $3 million and only give them $1 million back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he had even though he was apologizing for his stealing, he had an explanation for everything. The friend that died, that had cancer or something, that was in the real estate deals with him.
Yep.
He lost money on those deals, so he figured out in his head that it was acceptable for him to get that money back by stealing from him.
Yeah.
It's just sad.
And nothing was ever good enough for him, because he had lawsuits that he was winning, and he was getting. I mean, one of them, his fee was almost over $700,000 of direct financial gain from resolving. Like, I would love that. $700,000 to do your client right was good, and that wasn't good enough for him. He still stole an additional $350,000 over and above that.
So to me, that was an addiction too. You know how you have people that go into the store and they have money, they can afford to buy it, but they still steal stuff. What is that called?
kleptomaniac.
There's a word for it. Well, yeah, he was a kleptomaniac with money
Yeah.
because he had plenty of money to live. That's the
I just
thing.
wonder
And then
where
he
did that
kept
money
blaming
go?
it on the drugs. You can't take that many drugs. There's no way you can take.
In 60 days, I
Probably
believe
okay.
that
Now,
he
this was
showed.
the thing I was going to bring out to you because it's hard for me to type. What about the lady that did the interview where I'm not going to say what she was. You can read between the lines. And her boss would send her to him, and she did not want to go to him because he would do DV on her every time she saw him.
Yeah.
Did you see that
No.
interview?
Mm-mm.
So a lot of it could have gone to that too.
Yeah. And not only that, but clearly they were able to keep a lot away from their friends and
No?
their family. And everybody's like, well, he wasn't violent. We don't know that. We don't know whether he was violent inside that household or not. I guarantee you would have never known unless you lived near our home. You would never have known what went on inside our home.
Exactly.
So, and they live out
And
there.
don't you know, I was raised in an era where it was okay for your mom and dad to beat you. We used to have to make our own spanking switches.
Me too. I picked the
So-
small one for the first time, and I swore I'd never do that again. I know now to go for the thick switch.
Yeah, they'd send us out to pick our switches.
Yep. But think
And
about,
that was
what
totally acceptable back then.
I think it still is acceptable to this day. I think people have misused and misguided people about what a child abuse is. You have a right to rear your children. And I hope everybody exercises the right to rear their children, because I'll be darned if somebody's going to tell me how to discipline my kid. And I don't have, but even my grandkids, when they were
Right.
here in the corner, if they hit one another, they got popped. They got popped on their butt. Obviously, I don't believe in hitting a child in their face or head or anything. There's a spot to rear a child, and it's on their rear, right? Rearing a child, and that's where that.
Exactly.
But I also don't believe you should be hitting your child when you're angry either. You need to calm down.
No, it needs to be in control. And if you have to send them to their room for a while to cool yourself down and then go in and discipline them, I had to do that a lot because I have a temper. But yeah. So I want to switch this and end this with a good note.
Yeah. Whenever I discipline my grandchildren, I told them, I said, I really don't want to do this. I said, but you need to learn a lesson. I said, what are you? And I'd pop them once or twice. I wouldn't hit them hard. They were young girls. But it would scare them, just the pop alone, knowing that they were a disappointment, that scares them. They would cry, and I'd be like, are you going to do that again? And they said, no, Nana, no, Nana. I said, okay. I said, Nana does not like doing this. I always explain to them that they've got to be disciplined. They cannot act like that while they're here.
The one thing that I learned from parenting is that you can't spank them over everything either, or that they get null to it. In fact, they okay, here you go. They get numb to it is what I'm trying to say. So
I remember I got in
you
trouble
have to
one
pick
time.
and choose.
I remember I got in trouble one time. My dad told me, he's like, you need to come down here. I'm going to spank you. He goes, I can't believe you did this. So I stuffed a pillow in my pants.
I've done that.
Spanked me. And I was so proud of myself that I was so clever that I started chuckling when he was spanking me on my bottom. He's like, why are you laughing? And I couldn't help it.
he pulls out the pillow from my britches, and he was laughing so hard he couldn't whip me anymore. But I was smart.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think the problem nowadays is that there aren't enough spanking, because I have two sons that have families. So I get to see what goes on, and they do pretty good. I'm really proud of them, but they're real hesitant to spank the kids when they need a spanking, because they're in this new era. They could be sit in a corner and every time and taught their lesson. But if it's something that's going to hurt them, they need to be spanked over. If it's something that's going to harm them, like running across the street or something.
Yeah, the only time I've ever spanked my grandchild was when, for example, she threw a phone and hit her sister so hard in the side of her head that it made a welt. And
Exactly.
And so
Yeah.
that was, but even coloring on the wall would not be something I would whip them on. You know what I'd give them? I'd give them a sponge,
Right.
cleaning stuff, and make them clean it. It's teaching them a lesson in
Right.
a different way. But sometimes I truly believe, especially when you got 3 young girls running around like they're crazy, you need to have an authoritarian stance, because they will run over you, and then they'll come back with the bus and run over you.
The thing that just come to my head, do you remember when Maddox was telling the attorney that he got out of there, and the attorney said, "Why did you just get out of there?" And he said, "Because I knew if I came down here that I would do what I was going to do." And the attorney goes, "What?" He goes, "Sweat. Come on now."
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
It's so hot. And June is a hot month. I mean, June is a hot month. But at the end of the day, you've got
I think he wanted to say something else out of his mouth.
All right.
I mean, that's another thing. He would cover truths with untruths. Anyways, I want to say about the little kid, I'm so glad that you got to go and be a part of finding the little boy, JJ, and Jonathan got to go and be a part of that. And the thought come to me, when you were in that parking lot and all that noise, do you think that the JJ was starting to hear all that noise and was working his way towards that area?
It's possible. It's possible. I don't know what that little boy went through, why he was where he was. But I can tell you that I'm thankful he didn't get on one of those main roads. He could have been hurt, killed. I mean, there's ponds around there. There's rattlesnakes in those woods. The terrain was rough. He is truly lucky to be alive today.
Well, and he must be a very, very, very smart little boy.
Yeah.
In order to keep himself alive for that long.
And you know what?
What did he do? Just curl up and go to sleep somewhere?
He's gorgeous.
At night? Oh yeah, he is. I'm just so happy that happened. That's maybe the second time that I've seen that happen on true crime. It's just, not a normal thing that happens, which is sad.
For me, and I couldn't have been.
But that's a miracle.
Yep. And I'm going to go ahead and let you go, because
that's awesome.
Our hour, and I've got a video I need to play for everybody.
Okay, I think that you could keep doing all this political stuff And in the near future, you could run for president of the United States.
I like being an activist. I like being an advocate. I never want anybody to put a muzzle on my mouth.
They couldn't.
Exactly.
Okay,
So,
bye. I love you.
politics is not in the cards for me. All right. God bless you, Suzanne. Take care.
Okay.
I think there was quite just a little bit of a lag there with Suzanne, but what a sweetheart she was. What a sweetheart she was. Yes, this, we're in the true crime. So it's hard for us to have when we deal with these parents and children missing, it's hard for your mind not to go in the gutter. But you know what? You still want to hold out hope. And I think that's really what that was all about for me is, but boy, how powerful was that? Because it does give us, at least now, a semblance of humanity, when it comes to these cases, because we hear such horrible things all the time when it comes to children missing, that hearing that a child truly was lost and was found, and to be a part of that is an experience that I will never, ever go without. I mean, it was a beautiful experience. It might change how I do cases moving forward as well, because of how powerful that experience was personally for me. I learn every time I'm out, I learn something new. And this one, I tell you, when I saw the terrain and I saw the ravines, and and we couldn't find them anywhere on the side we were. Now, mind you, the side we were was well over a mile, or about, I want to say 2 to 3 miles away from where we were told to search. And we went out there and searched. Next time I'm going to look at a map. Next time I'll register myself, but I'm going to look at a map and I'm going to go where my gut tells me, because my gut was not telling me to search in that area. And when I got out there and was searching, I knew in my heart and soul that child was not in the area we were searching. I knew it. And he wasn't anywhere near where we were searching. So I'm thankful that people broke away from the group and he was found. I knew if he was not found yesterday, we were going to be looking at a very different story. I'm glad he was found. But this does show everybody else that when a child is lost, when a child wanders from home, guess what? They are found. When a child disappears, They are not found. So this child was found. Thank God. Thank God. This child was lucky to be alive. And not only that, I can tell you, just from me, I'm going to tell you, thank God he survived. He's going to be a heartthrob. He is just the most adorable little boy you could ever see. He's got the curly, cute, blonde hair, just gorgeous. He's a gorgeous little boy. So I wish him the very, very, very best. I had to star this one this morning. So we need to welcome Miss Robin for becoming the newest member of the Coffee Club this morning. Oh, Lord, we love you, Miss Robin, but we know you're not the newest member. We know you're not. Come on. You're pulling an Alec Murdaugh. No, I'm just joking. Don't kill me. Don't kill me. Oh, Miss Robin, please donate to Betty's Camera Fund. She works hard. Keep us in. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I love you guys. You guys are amazing. You guys truly are amazing. But we know you're not the newest member of the Coffee Club. Miss Robin is identifying as the newest member of the Coffee Club this day, Saturday, February 25th. All right, enough of that. Okay, I'm stopping. We're going to put this up. I'm going to put this video back up. Oh, is this it? Yes, let's hopefully we get it right this time. We're going to watch this stream. If it does it right, let's pray it does. It does. Bullhorn Betty, baby.
go, guys. Here we go. Here he goes.
Alec Murdaugh!
Did you look your son and your wife in their eyes when you did it?
Why did you kill your wife and your
Bullhorn
son?
Betty wants to know, is your grandfather and your father proud of you?
Alex!
Hey guys, so I'm in Low County, South Carolina. Right behind me is Alec Murdaugh's home here in the country.
So I want
Right
to
there,
hold on.
right behind me. This
So I want to pause this just for a second. This is the area that they went to. If you look back here, now that we've listened to some testimony, let me just go turn this around just a little bit. There's the mailbox. There's the mailbox right there. That is the area that the law enforcement was going in. You can see the kennels kind of right in the background here. But this is the road. His house is further this way, over in this direction here. Right in this, back there. But this is a 1,700 acre estate. And this is only one section. This is where he was at minutes before his wife and son were gunned down. Now, I want you to watch this because I'm going to do a 360 around me, and you're going to see there's nobody out there. There's nobody out there.
South Carolina, right behind me is Alec Murdaugh's home here in the country. Right there, right behind me. This is where he murdered his wife and his son, allegedly. He is currently facing charges, multiple charges of fraud, scheming to defraud his clients, scheming to, it's possible that he murdered his own housekeeper that he had for over a couple decades downstairs at another home.
Now, I'm going to tell you that some of this information, this is one of the first videos that I did. And some of the information was inaccurate in this video. So I will be pausing to let you know the differences of what happened.
This here is the home that he murdered his wife and son. As you see, here is the home.
And it's not, because I didn't know it wasn't a home. It was just the kennel. I am sitting out in front of their country home. If you guys remember, his wife was going to meet him at the house,
and texted her and said, meet him here first. So she actually texted a friend and said she thought he...
And it was her sister that she did not want to go back home. So we got that information. And just to let you know, Buckeye Gal, was the poison oak you got in, was that poison oak you got in yesterday? Yes, there was poison oak. Thank God I didn't scratch. So far, my skin hasn't broken out. But yes, we were trumping through a mess of poison oak, and I had a stick, so I was trying to keep it out of my way. But yes, we were in poison oak. There was a lot of it out there. So again, that little boy may be covered in it himself. And we just found out. Thank you. We just got a $50 and a $200 donation on the camera. Thank you, guys. God bless you. I don't know who did that, but thank you so much.
He was up to something. She didn't understand why she needed to meet him out here and then go to the hospital. Now, this is some 30 minutes away from town. So this would be 30 minutes away from, or even longer than that, away from the hospital that they needed to go to. And that's where they were going to actually meet. But something happened. Something happened, and he chose to get her out here, where he ended up killing her. Then his son came, and he murdered him as well.
We now know it's most likely that Paul died first and then Maggie, based upon the understanding I got from this court hearing and court trial.
Now, there is a possibility that his son came here first and was executed first, and then his wife. I'm very sketchy on those details, so I will swap this out when I research this a little bit more related to the timing of death.
We definitely know what the timing of death is perceived to be by the state, by the coroner, by the people that did the autopsy, and it was between 9 and 10. So this few minutes before 9 falls right in line, and they did. The coroner says he basically just took his hand and reached up under the pit. No formal temperature taken or anything like that. He said the only way he can do that is through a rectal thermometer, which, you know, in all fairness, I've seen people give liver tests, the thermometer that goes through the body and into the liver. Those are the only ones I knew about. I did not know that they actually did rectal thermometers on them. I had no idea. And I can understand why he would not do that out there in front of all those people.
But we are out here in Low County.
Low country.
And I'm standing out in front of Alec Murdaugh's home.
Okay, and then we're going to...
And it's on a large piece of real estate here. It's very quiet out here. Not a whole lot of traffic, nothing. Now, granted, this is Sunday afternoon, but it's very peaceful, very quiet, very desolate. A perfect place, a perfect opportunity. So as I cover this case over the next day or two, please stay with me. Follow me on the Bullhorn Betty channel, like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you have any questions, want me to go look at something.
Can't do that now. I'm in Florida.
Let me know in the comments. I will be reading them. This is what is behind. Nobody's around. Nobody's around. Now, granted, there is a house right here.
That is the cabin. Now we know exactly what that is on the property. That is part of their property. That is the cabin. That is the place that Alec Murdaugh changed his clothes at. That's where other internet service. So the only people out there in the near distance is them. It's them.
Here, very close, but no matter what happens, this is a wooded area. So hearing some gunshots being fired is probably not uncommon out here.
And we heard the range of that gunfire, the gunshot, especially in homes. If you're inside a home, you're not going to be able to hear it over your TV, according to what they say.
You know, this is the country. This is the country. So I'm going to go try to find out where he resides, where the house.
And the house is back here, right behind me. I don't know if you can see my cursor, but the house, there's another driveway with gates, but it's behind where I'm standing right now. And I didn't dare go there. But there was a gentleman.
Keeper lost her life. I don't believe it's here because we heard that she fell down stairs. And this is a single story home. It looks like it's rustic. It looks like it's country.
And I have to say, you know, I didn't realize that there was 2 entrances because there was a mailbox out here. We learned that the mailbox was the kennels.
I'm unsure why he has this. This does not appear to be a property he would want to have with his upscale lifestyle and such. So we're still on the hunt for answers. We're still trying to piece this puzzle together. What happened to Alec Murdaugh?
I was like, you know, I was kind of, but if you're going to go, I'm going to go.
I've been out here a million times.
Have you? Now, where did he actually live?
Back there, you go the gated entrance and you drive straight.
And that's the main house?
Yeah, well, that is the house. You can't see it from the road.
Okay.
But these metal gates were just put up after the murders.
Gotcha.
Anybody could have driven in any time.
Gotcha. Wow. Well, it's awfully quiet out here. I'm from Florida. What do you know about the area? How's this affected the community?
Oh, Walterboro? Carlton County, not that much. Hampton County, which is across the river, nobody will talk about it.
Gotcha.
41, 47, Hotel Road. Yeah, you're not recording me, I hope.
No, I'm keeping you out.
Okay.
I'm keeping you out. See, I got it going straight, but I've kept you out. for purposes of
my wife, she would not help me do this.
For you guys to know, I was actually packing up to leave and a car pulled in behind me. And so I just popped my head out because I didn't know if it was another reporter. I didn't know if it was just somebody, if it was somebody that was caretaking on the house, and I was just going to let them know I hadn't been on the property. And when I asked him, hey, how are you doing? And he's like, I'm here for the same reason you're here for. He's like, he goes, before it becomes a media frenzy out here, he goes, I wanted to sneak out here. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to follow you.
I guess right place at the right time.
But you see how far this driveway is. I mean, this is not like, boom, you're here. I mean, somebody would have had to know. And I think that's the point that the prosecutor made is like, they were going to have to know, like Maggie was at Edisto. He called her to come back. Paul was out there, fooling with the dogs and whatever, but somebody would have had to know that Maggie was back home, that Paul was home, that they were both at the kennels at the same time. And none of the dogs were acting as though somebody was on the property, because nobody was on the property. So who would have laid in wait and watched him go back to the house and then decide? I mean, you would think that if somebody was there for the boat accident, having 3 Murdaughs in the same area, they would have taken all 3 of them out, not waited for one of them to go back to the home and possibly hear the gunshot of killing the other 2. Betty's never met a stranger. That is true. I make friends everywhere I go. It is true. It's a true statement. So let's take the walk, shall we?
Because I remember reading the articles, and the wife apparently texted a friend saying something's not right, because they were supposed to go to the hospital too.
Wow. All right. So here's the chicken coop right here that they've been referring to. Here is the storage and feed shed. So he was here, Maggie was here, and Alec came from around this way because
no.
But there it is. This is where law enforcement was, because you've seen him walking up this way, and Alec met him right here. Now, mind you, Alec is calling all of his family and friends, looking at his son lying on the ground and looking at his wife. He didn't even walk away from this area to get away from it to make those calls. He stood there and he kept asking, are they dead? Are they dead? You have been there for 20-some minutes. Have you seen life in them? He just had to act like he didn't know that they were dead. Yet he took he saw his sons not there. He saw his wife laying there with a huge gaping wound in the back of her brain. I mean, it falls on deaf ears that he didn't know that they were dead. And he's literally pacing back and forth while they're laying there before they're even covered up, calling all of his family and friends. He was controlled enough to think of their number. He wasn't even in shock. You would think shock would have set in seeing that scene. And when shock sets in, you don't think about calling your family. You don't think about you can't even think of their names. You can't even think of their phone numbers. You can't think of nothing. Nothing. And he's telling the first responding officers that he checked them. He tried to move Paul. He tried to roll Paul over. He tried to check Paul's pulse. He checked Maggie's pulse. Yet his shoes have no blood on them whatsoever, even though it was a bloody scene out there. He had no visible blood on his hands or even under his fingernails, which blood would have naturally gravitated under the fingernails. Anybody that's dealt with any type of injury or blood know that you can't touch blood without it dripping in the crevices of your hands, even in your and then where would he have wiped the blood off of? He didn't wipe them on his shorts like most men do. They rub their hands on their shorts to get the stuff off their hands. He would have had blood on his shorts. No blood anywhere. He made sure he didn't have a speck of blood on him, on his person or anywhere else. And they checked him that night for, what does it say? And we were low income with life insurance, LOL. Yeah, I know that's what he was trying to say. But no blood anywhere on him. He wanted to make sure he had no possibility of blood. He grabbed a gun that he knew was not used to injure either one of them to come back there with. And when we get up there, I'm going to tell you what I think happened after I heard all the testimony.
Where were they actually found?
Well, these are the
Careful.
kennels.
Uh-huh.
See that little white door?
Yeah.
That's it.
Wow.
Over here.
Okay, I'll let you take your photo and then I'll go walk. Did they used to have a lot of animals?
Yeah, hunting dogs.
Wow. What game do they hunt around here? Deer?
Oh yeah, there's deer, but mainly doves. Dogs are mainly dove dogs.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm not opening the door.
No.
It's all been replaced anyway.
Yeah, but I'm not going to touch anything, but I don't mind recording.
510 people in the chat. We need to get the likes up. If you guys would go out there and like it, I'd greatly appreciate it.
So that's it.
Right there.
That's where they found them.
Let me back up. Let me back up just a little bit. Look at the water on the ground. It was similar to that where it pooled. But it was drizzly that day. So that was from rain as opposed to the hoses and stuff like that. But he was out, and he was out along this way. His feet were still inside the door. His head was outside of the door. But you see this right here? This is what I think he did. I honestly think he was over there messing with his, he was messing with Cash. Cash was right here. He was in the feed store in the feed room for some reason, but I believe that Alec had the gun sitting over here somewhere. And I think while he was there, he grabbed one of them. And I think he shot him. And I think when he went down, and people are like, there was one comment that came to me in my emails that said that they don't believe that Alex would have laid down in a sniper type of position. I don't think he's laid down in a sniper type of position. I think when his son walked toward him, I think he kneeled down and did the fatal blow. That's what I truly believe had happened. I was also told that Maggie was way over here, but she was not. But I do believe, and that's where he put the other gun back and grabbed the other gun as Maggie was coming over. And I think he shot and killed her as well. But there's a lot more going on this property than meets the eye. So now that we have a good understanding where the positioning of the bodies are, we're going to listen to this and look at it with a new set of eyes.
That's where they found them.
Right there. So he was out this way, and this was all bloody. This was all wet, even though the dog guy said he was out there at 4:30 in the afternoon, that all that water should have been dissipated. It should have been dry as a bone at that time. And you can even see that their beds are still on the top of their kennels here when I was there. So it's gonna pan around here in just a second.
That's where they found Paul.
Hmm?
This is where they found Paul.
Where did they find the wife?
30 yards away, 100 feet away.
Oh, wow. So Paul was in there.
So Paul was right here, and he was laying out here, and his head was out in the grass.
Her.
Her body was out there.
So her body was out there.
And we were told that she was out here, but that's not true. She was actually, I'll pan around in just a little bit.
Yeah, and they still have a truck out here.
That's Paul's truck.
I don't want to spend too much time back here.
No. I appreciate it.
And I don't know if I pan right there. I was going around him. I didn't want to put him in there, but it looks like I didn't get an opportunity to
This,
there.
I mean,
So she was just on the other side of this. She was right there. This is the overhang. This is the, again, the bird, the guinea, where the guineas were placed. And she was like right in front of whatever this little machine is here. She was on the other side of this in the dirt between this building here and this out and this overhang here. She was out there. So when he came around the corner, he allegedly said he saw his son Paul and his wife. They were actually closer than I had originally thought that they were. So I wanted to point all that out there to you because we've learned a lot. But what we know is that there was nobody around. Alec Murdaugh himself on the witness stand acknowledged that there was nobody around. The dogs weren't acting like there was a stranger there. The dogs weren't acting erratic as if there was somebody that should not have been on the property. You know, shot in the leg first. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff but I believe he did it. I absolutely believed he did it because who else would do it? Who else? We can't take the boat into consideration, the people in the boat, because they were fighting him in court to take everything from him. They wanted to take everything from him. They wanted them to know they took everything from him. They didn't want to go out there and kill somebody and ruin their case. They wanted to destroy this man lawfully and legally, and they were taking the steps necessary to do that. There is no other person out there. I think that the prosecution did at least make it a point that there was nobody else out there. There was no other person that could have possibly done this to them. I truly believe that the jurors are going to come back and find him guilty. I really believe you're not going to be able to get over that OnStar data. You're just not. And that's just the way I believe. Guinea hens go crazy, make loud noise if someone comes around. Yes, and he attested to that. They were, the way he described these birds is they were there for a measure of security. And none of them were going crazy. The only one that was, the dog got the chicken. You know, the chicken later died. But I truly believe that Alec was there. I believe Alec did not want to be there, but I do believe it was all planned. I do believe it was all planned, and I think it was for sympathy. I think that when that roadside shooting, I don't believe was for him to unalive himself. Any attorney knows how insurance, somebody that's in civil litigation that does torts, that does personal injury, knows how to read insurance paperwork. He would have known very clear that his insurance paperwork does not have a suicide clause on it. Suicide clauses are typically only there for up to 2 years of any insurance policy. At least that's the time frame here in the state of Florida. Maybe South Carolina is similar. Maybe they are 3 years. But he obviously had his life insurance well past that stipulated amount of time, that if he did off himself, he would have been able to still be paid on that claim. Any person that deals with insurance and life insurance and represents clients and stuff like this, which he did, and up until he was fired in September from his law firm, or June, or whenever he was fired from his law firm, he knew how to read these policies. He would have known himself that there was no possibility of them utilizing that spot, because he had owned that policy entirely too long. He was outside of that suicide clause. He was outside of that. But him as an attorney would have known that. This idea he didn't know that is hogwash. This is the kind of law that he deals with each and every day for his own clients. So I believe 100% that whole roadside situation was for sympathy, was to say, oh, they're after me now too. They're after me now too. He was trying to allege that his son was somehow concerned about his well-being. Buster gets on the stand and says, nah, I wasn't really concerned about it, and I didn't want to have a private security company. I like my privacy. Somebody that's in fear for their life doesn't care about their privacy. If I really thought somebody was coming after me to do harm my body, I would have a secure. I don't care how inconvenient it is or how little privacy I have by having a security detail. I wouldn't care if somebody just offed my mom and my brother and just shot my dad. Then yeah, I would want a security detail. I might be next. That was not how Buster took it. Buster knew in the back of his mind himself that nobody did this to his family other than somebody in his family. I truly believe that. Another lie he told was that he went down there in his truck twice on the stand. He said he went in the golf cart. Good catch. Yes, he did. He said he went down there in his golf cart and we could see that his truck moved. So a lot, and the whole thing of him being attached to his phone. Everybody that came on the witness stand talked about how he would be on his phone nonstop, almost to the point that it was annoying and frustrating to them about how much on the phone he is. It's kind of like me. I have never left home without this phone except for one occasion and one occasion only. And because I forgot, I was already halfway where I was going before I realized the phone was at the house. And I just ended up leaving it here, not turning around and coming back to get it. But that's only happened one time in probably 3 years. And that actually happened not too long ago, as a matter of fact. I don't know if it happened at the end of last year or the beginning of this year, but it just happened very recently. And I find it odd that he went down to the kennels and didn't bring his phone that day. That was really odd because they had testimony after testimony after testimony after testimony of people talking about how he always had his phone on him. They would try to talk to him and he'd be like, I got to take this call. I got to take this call. I got to take this call. Every person that came on that stand talked about his usage of his cell phone. Somebody that uses their cell phone that frequently, it's hard. I mean, it's almost an addiction to make sure your phone is near you. I literally have heart palpitations if I don't have my phone on my person. I left here to go to Brooksville yesterday, and I was trying to pack up everything. Guess what I did? I left my phone here. Got halfway down the road, just my road, not even halfway. I got probably about 5 houses down and I'm like, my phone, right? And I had to turn around and come back and get my phone. I didn't even make it to the main street. I live on a dead end road. And I didn't even make it to the main street before I realized my phone wasn't with me. And I'm having, breathing. I'm hyperventilating, right? In a bag. And I'm like, I got to get the phone. I got to get the phone. Oh my God, I got to get the phone. The Bo case is only important because of the scam and money theft. He was mad at Paul and tried to give Buster all the insurance money and money he stole. Exactly. He wanted to keep it in the family. He wasn't concerned about his victims. He wasn't concerned about any of his victims. He literally showed not one stick of remorse for all the damage he has done to his family, his business partners, his clients, his community. He was not remorseful. He was busted. His story didn't even change until after the OnStar data proved the state's case. I have not gotten off the state's case yet. But I am very thankful that we have audience members here that do not parrot one another. They think for themselves. Some of them believe that Alec Murdaugh is innocent. The majority obviously believe he's guilty, but we are all in this chat at a deadlock, whether the jury's going to have a deadlock. So this is very interesting. I anticipate them being wrapped up by Wednesday or Thursday, depending on how long the cross-examination is. These are the defense's witnesses, so the state can only cross-examine them, but when they cross-examine them, they scrutinize everything they say. And I'm very thankful for that. I think that the prosecution has proved several things. I think they proved that he lied multiple times to law enforcement about that night. And why would you lie about that when you're trying to find the murderer of your child and wife? So I think that was glaring. He never seemed, what they also proved is that he never really ponies up the truth until after he has no choice. And I think that that's exactly what he did again. He is very conniving and cunning. That's what we saw on the stand with the snot coming out of his mouth and nose, you know, while he was trying to seek sympathy. And he was seeking sympathy, in my opinion, when his attorneys were questioning him, because they were trying to focus on the family man that he is. And I don't doubt that he was a family man. I don't doubt he painted a picture. He painted a very good facade of his life to the public as opposed to what it really was. I believe he was that cunning. I believe he did care for Paul, and I believe he did care for his wife until it comes to his money. I believe he cares about his money and his drugs a hell of a lot more than anybody else in this world. He cares only of himself. He has to be on top at all cost. And that is really what I think the state showed. He had no remorse to the hundreds of people he has victimized over the last decades. Not 1 ounce of remorse. He's upset. He was busted. And I don't put it past these jurors. I believe these jurors are very knowledgeable of the facts. I believe that they have sat there and listened to all of this information and all of these witnesses. And I truly believe that they're going to come back with a guilty verdict. And here's why. Because when they have to sit in that room and they're looking through the evidence and they have to look at the statement and the testimony. Thank you, Kat. God bless you. Just received a donation for, thank you guys for the camera donations. Thank you. God bless you. But when you sit there and you're watching his behavior on that stand, you're watching him change. When his attorneys were questioning him, he was sobbing, he was being sympathetic, he was crying, he was looking at the jury, he was talking to the jury. When things got intense and they were pressing him on those fine details, he was ignoring the jury and almost being combative with the person answering it. He wouldn't answer questions. He proved to be a liar directly on that stand when they kept asking him, did the community think you were prominent? Well, I didn't think I was prominent. I didn't think this and I didn't think that. Bull. You have been handed everything your entire freaking life. You didn't even have to really apply to become an assistant, a solicitor, a voluntary assistant solicitor. And you only did that just to get the stinking badge. So you could feel important when officers pulled you over with a bag of pills in your pocket. You would get a pass and on your merry way you go. That man has gone through years of having a golden spoon in his mouth, being entitled just like his damn children, and having to live up to the reputation of his father and his grandfather and his great-grandfather for that fact. And I truly believe that these jurors are not stupid. I don't think people will be played. Were they sympathetic when he was crying? Yes. Do I believe that Alec regrets what he did? Yes. But I only believe he regrets it because, one, he's sober, potentially, and two, because he sees what he's caused and that he's not a very good criminal. He makes a better lawyer than he does a criminal. And I think that's what he proved to himself. But now it's too late. The damage is done. You can't unalive your wife. You can't unalive your son. You can't get those graphic scenes out of your mind that you did. And people are like, well, he may have hired somebody. Okay, if he hired somebody, he would still be as guilty. But what did he say on his own when he was up on that stand? That yes, he was there minutes before they died, and no, nobody else was around. Okay, so there's 3 people there, 2 people are dead, nobody else around. Who could have killed those 2 people? Was nice to check in for a few here. Time for me to get going. Long day ahead of me. Much love. Be safe, everyone. You need to be safe, and you need to stay off your foot. I'm turning into Mama Bullhorn now. So But I know you just can't, you're probably like me. You just can't sit still. I wouldn't be able to sit still. I'd go through pain. Even if I had to cry with every single step I took, you're not keeping me in the damn bed. They were forcing the financial conviction in the murder trial. They were. That state attorney took his opportunity to nail him on the financial crimes. There's no way Alec is not getting out for a very long time, even if they deadlock this jury. I guarantee with as much piss and vinegar as that state attorney has, if they can become deadlocked, he's turning around and refiling. They're not going to let this case go until he's either found innocent or guilty of this crime. I wouldn't. Happy birthday to him. Yeah, happy birthday. Did you say something about a birthday? Did I miss that? Whose birthday is it? I don't know whose birthday it is, but whoever birthday it is, happy birthday from the Bullhorn Betty channel. We're probably not going to get the 200 more likes because we are winding down. We're past our 2 hours. I may come, depending on the day. You know, I'm here most of the day. I actually was just going to go through with it, but I got to use the. You know what? Maybe I'll open the panel back up. I figured if somebody wanted to come on a panel, they would have came on by now. I really don't have much more to talk about except me, and I never talk about me. You guys want to hear about me? No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. It's never about me. Never about me. It's all about you guys and the cases. Oh, it's Linda L's son's birthday. Okay. My son. LOL. Okay, so happy birthday to anybody that's got a birthday in here. We're just going to start saying, I think on the 1st of the month, I'm just going to start doing monthly birthday shout outs. So, I forgot. So you guys know we have this cute little thing, and I've been burning this up because this little girl makes me smile every time I see her little face on the screen.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
But I thought, you know what? It's very cute, and I want it. If anybody else has ones that they want to send me related to the coffee cup, let me know. I'll debut it. You know, this is kind of, you know, it's our morning. It's our fun time. You know, we talk about really crappy stuff. So anything that can brighten our day and make us happier and more humble and just, you know, bring a little bit of joy. That little girl brings joy to me. So that's why I keep playing her. Because every time I see her little face on there, I smile. You know, and that's really what it's all about. And if it makes me smile, I know it's making some of you smile out there too. But if you guys would like to bring some, you know, send some stuff, the coffee club, send it to me. I'll play it and let people say hi to you. So anyways, guys, I love each and every one of you. I think you guys are absolutely fabulous. We had a great morning this morning. Happy Saturday. I'll probably this is what's going to happen tomorrow. I'm either going to do a really early coffee club or a much later coffee club. I'm not sure which just yet. Make sure I'm not missing anything real quick. Hold on a second. Sorry. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, it's 12th birthday. Big thing. Okay, it looks like I got everything. But so I'm planning on going to church tomorrow. Monday is going to be, is that right? So Sunday's the 26th. So Monday is going to be our last live in the morning for about a week. I may do some, I'm not sure how the schedule is going to go. Once I get situated where I'm at, then we'll talk about the scheduling of the show while I'm not going to physically be here at the office. But I am packing up everything. Everything's coming with me. We take the show on the road everywhere we go. That's the great thing about being a YouTuber and in true crime. Your business goes wherever you go. So we will be able to go live. It just might be a little tricky on the scheduling. So just bear with me. Make sure you guys, when we power down here, if you didn't get a notification, you unsubscribe and resubscribe, and you change that bell. Make sure the bell is filled, that it's on all notifications. You don't, if it's one that's not full, it does not grade in, then you have it on personalized or none. And that may be the reason why you're not getting the notifications. Sometimes it just happens with updates from YouTube. YouTube updates things and it just kind of gets a little funky on here and people aren't getting notifications. Some people are getting notifications. So just be cognizant of that. But now would be a great time as we wind down to go ahead, if you're not getting notifications, to unsubscribe, resubscribe, and turn your bell to all. God bless each and every one of you guys. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, guys, please be safe. God bless each and every one of you and make it a great day.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.